Kneel before the biggest and baddest podcast in the land. You motherfuckers are not ready. Welcome to the Hate Bit Podcast live. Welcome each and every one of you. I am the mighty El Chaos. Joining me as always, the convention kid, Alpha Omega Sin.
I'm touching you. I'm touching you all on your naughty bits right now, and you like it.
And the sexiest man to grace the internet, at least today, reporting to us from 1991, the Razor Fist.
God fucking speed, folks. I finally figured out how to do the black and white in real time. It's actually a superpower.
And we love it because it looks like you're reporting to us from previously recorded comments. We really appreciate that, so it's fantastic. Welcome to our program. We got a decent-sized show for each and every one of you, and we hope we didn't screw up the intro, which I'm pretty sure we did, but that's just the way things go around here. Welcome. I want to take a chance right now, before we get too far along in the program, to remind each and every one of you that there is contact information down below in what they used to call the description box. You can contact myself, Alpha Omega Sin, and Razor Fist. You notice all our names together make YAR. That would be funny to you Atari 2600 enthusiasts.
Hey!
Well, anyway, yeah, you like that, didn't you? Anyway, I want to remind each and every one of you of that. Also, don't forget, follow us on the Twitter, follow us on the Facebook, and over there, give us a sub on the YouTube. And if you don't, you're a motherfucker. But anyway, thank you for and welcome to our show. We got a great show, and starting off the evening. In fact, these guys were bursting at the seams, so I'm just going to let them go wild because we had to get on here. Razorfist said we had to start the show, and I said, all right, let's start the show. So we're starting the show. Konami. I'm gonna let that settle in for a second, because you hear that? You hear all the booing? Konami, the fine folks over at Konami of Japan, have officially delisted from the New York Stock Exchange, and there's also talk of the cancellation, and now confirmed cancellation, of Silent Hills. For more, we go to Alpha Omega Sin, who was, again, bursting at the seams.
Bursting at the seams? Oh, it's the trouser snake again. I don't know. Mr. Fist, where should I begin exactly?
Well, the news came out. I mean, first off, it was just a fucking tornado of bullshit this past week with Konami. It was like one bad item of news after another. First, we hear the rumor that Silent Hills might be canceled. Then Guillermo del Toro comes out and says, "It's actually canceled," or however the fuck he talks. Motherfucker has had a stroke. There is no way he has not had a stroke. And so, anyways, he came out and confirmed basically flat out that it has been canceled. And then, 2 days later, as if on cue, Konami delists themselves from the stock exchange. And the rumor is that they want to move into fucking slot machines?
Yeah, dude, when I heard that, and that's one of the fucked up things right now that a lot of people haven't talked about just yet, is that Konami wants to have this big shift away from games, because games don't make monies, according to their fucking flawed logic.
Well, their games don't make monies, but that's another story. That don't mean games don't make money.
They're fucking pachinko machines and their slut machines and all the other happy other goober shit. That's gonna make them truckloads of money. Which the only thing out of that I would ever even give some kind of a fucking microgasm of a fuck about is that really sweet ass Castlevania slot machine with like the actual storyline and shit. Dude, I'd rub my dick up and down that all fucking day. It'd be great. It's in Japanese. I have no fucking clue what it says. Doesn't matter. And it'd just be nothing but quarters coming out. And I just have to put back in and eventually use for laundry. But, you know, whatever. Konami.
Well, not entirely an outlandish idea, but see, if this is really their saving grace in terms of profit and, you know, financial regeneration and concentration, I for those of you that have been following my program for any length of time, you know about the Full Metal Vegas videos. And if you learn to the Full Metal Vegas videos, the Konami folks, the Castlevania folks, went into the slot machine business in this country in 2010, and apparently, and worldwide, you'll see that gambling revenues are down, but they're gonna double down on something that's, well, let's face it, losing money. Much like the people at Sony, but you know, we're not going to talk about them. Right now.
Well, did you guys see the thing that one of the reasons that apparently there was a big time problem with Kojima and Konami and company was that they didn't like the the artistic direction that he was going with his games, because it was essentially too costly, because he wanted to make AAA games, which obviously have a large budget. All AAA games typically end up having a large budget. Konami didn't like this, and they wanted him to water down the product so that they could still make more money. So
See, here's where I part company with you. I don't think Hideo Kojima's the sales on his games justify spending that much money on his games, because he's the best success that he's had in the last several years, and we don't know exact figures, but I actually did a video about this. His run as VP, since he's taken over as VP, his games haven't really sold. Castlevania Lords of Shadow didn't. That's the best-selling game in that series. There's 2 of those games, and it didn't really move many units. And then the second one went up like a fart in church. And the newest, really the only success since he's taken over as VP, he re-released Zone of the Enders. It didn't sell. He re-released Metal Gear Solid, and they've done HD re-releases, and I think didn't the Silent Hill HD collection get re-released in I think it got re-released shortly after he took over as VP as well, and that didn't sell particularly well. None of those re-releases sold particularly well, and none of the original games sold particularly well. The only one that did well was the $30 demo, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. which it's Metal Gear Solid, and it's got Kojima's name on it. Well, and for Sutherland.
Wasn't there a lot of flack that was tossed around due to the fact that Zone of the Enders HD collection didn't do shit in terms of sales? Wasn't that kind of a deciding factor into the future of a couple things?
I think it was. I definitely suspect that it was. But it's, once again, I think the problem is Hideo Kojima took over as VP. There's always been political bullshit around that. I don't know the exact particulars, but it's always stank to high heavens to me of politics. You know, just executive fucking bullshit boardroom politics. I get the feeling there are factions within Konami that want to pull in different directions, and it sounds like the faction that won here is the one that doesn't want to make games because they're not selling in Japan, even the really big budget Kojima ones. So they want to go make slot machines. And I think it's fucking stupid to jump on the slot machine bandwagon, but I can understand them trying to rein in Kojima's budgets, because I don't think at the end of the day it kind of justifies it. Like what was the last big hit, and how well did it sell? I would have to look up the numbers, but like even the really successful Metal Gear Solid games, someone in the comments section will have to correct me if I'm wrong or look this up, but I don't think they're certainly not pulling in Skyrim numbers. I know that much. We're not talking like 11 million units sold. We're talking like 4 or 5 million. Huge success, but not like GTA 5 success. You know, not like justifying several $100 million of expense. I don't know.
That I can totally agree with. I feel that for Kojima, one of the main reasons that some of his stuff has been costly is because, I mean. Look at some of the engines that he's been running with. He doesn't use a pre-existing engine. It's built from the ground up.
Yeah, that shit is expensive. Like, look at Hitman Absolution. They made their own engine, Glacier 2, for that game, and that's why that game was a failure. That people say, you know, it sold 3-something million copies, and we all joked about it on the Hate It podcast. We were talking about how they considered Hitman Absolution to be a flop even though it sold 3 million, and they considered Tomb Raider to be a flop even though it sold however many it sold, and they were all pretty fucking good numbers, but both those games spent so much goddamn money because they were reboots and they made their own engines and all this. I mean, at that point you kind of understand why they consider it a flop.
Well, see, that's where I think that you have to look at upper management, and somebody has to go and write off, you know, some kind of fucking letter of acceptance of, yeah, sure, go build your own thing. We know that it's going to cost an arm and a leg, but if there's already formidable fucking shit out there to use to get the ball rolling, you should be using it. If you want to go and make the most out of it, because a lot of people, they don't look at this from like a business standpoint. We look at it from a consumer and a fan standpoint.
Yeah.
And then when you're breaking down numbers like this, you know, somebody has to go and reel in the ego. at some point, and then just be like, hey, you can't go this fucking far. And that's where I still just like blame the company. And then with them like trying to shy away from gaming, it's like, okay, Konami, what has been building you up into the powerhouse that you are over the years? Games. What have you been making a lot less of? Games. Are you making nearly as much money as you used to? No.
No.
So
I think it is at the end of the day. It's they're justified in trying to reel in the budgets, and if Hideo Kojima's throwing a fit over that, if that's what he's pissy about, then I think Kojima's in the wrong. But going and basically abandoning gaming entirely so you can make some fucking slot machines while gambling revenues are down, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's bullshit, and they're just gonna put the nail in their own coffin.
Well, you know what else comes up, and something you have brought up a multitude of times, and we've actually discussed on here, is Konami thrived greatly back in the 90s in the middle market.
Yeah,
they were
the licensed games and the middle market games.
Yep.
They were rocking and rolling. Silent Hill was middle market. That I think is why Silent Hill has had so many problems. Is it's a middle market game that Konami wants to be AAA. And I don't think it's ever going to work as a AAA game because it's too philosophical. It's too existential. It's not tailor-made for a commercial approach. That's one of the problems I had with Silent Hills, is that it's very, very commercial and AAA. For whatever else you can say that's great about Silent Hills or whatever, I didn't care for the PT demo. But the game is very, very... It spoke to a very wide audience because it plays nothing like Silent Hill. It's totally... They're not getting into existential bullshit. It's, oh, there's a family murdered in this house and then creepy shit happens. It's very simple, direct concept.
Well, the PT demo, the one thing I always try to let people know about it is it's... The PT demo, which is the Silent Hills demo, as everybody knows, is... The game wasn't going to play like that.
Yeah, it was more of a proof of concept. I know that it's more of like a... I'm trying to think. It's a vertical slice. It's what they call a vertical slice.
Well, if anything, it's probably the greatest example of an interactive trailer that we've really had in gaming. Instead of just giving people, hey, here's a trailer. Just watch this trailer, watch all the shit on screen. You got to experience it. And the thing is, it succeeded in the sense of it created buzz within milliseconds. And you had millions of people downloading them fucking everywhere. And it was inescapable for a couple of days. Like, just the name, you couldn't get away from it. It was everywhere. Now it's gonna become vaporware.
And it was kind of brilliant how... And this is probably all Kojima. This is you have to hand it to Kojima in this regard. If I'm not mistaken, the first time they showed the PT demo, they didn't make a big deal out of it. It just showed up at like a convention, and Konami wasn't like, oh, we got something big coming. Oh, this is gonna be amazing. They had the Konami kiosk up, and then they were like, oh, this is the demo for PT, and everyone was like, what is this? What the fuck? And then everybody, as they started to be able to complete it, realized, oh shit, it's the demo for Silent Hills.
Yep.
And that was actually a stroke of genius. That's some brilliant little viral marketing, frankly.
Did you guys see the PlayStation 4s popping up on eBay for like over $1,000 because they already have the PT demo installed and it's already super ultra rare. So you want to get it while you can. Don't worry, everybody. Whenever it goes off of PSN, you'll still be able to get your fix for the low introductory price of $1,700 US.
Jesus Christ. So, isn't it bizarre to think that your PS4 now is a collector's item? It has a fucking PT demo on it?
That shit
Not
right
to mention
there.
useful.
It fucking kills me, the idea that people even like try to resell that kind of shit, and then like in like big bold letters it's like super ultra rare must have collector's item. Like, motherfucker, that's just a PS4. Suck a fat fucking dick. Like, I hate it. I wish you could line them up outside of fucking Glory Hole at a big time zoo. It just on my fucking nerves. It does, but it's I don't know. the other interesting part to it is that, and I thought this was particularly weird, and it was something a lot of people just glossed over, but why is it that Konami themselves, once they decided to go and say, okay, well, here's the deal, here's everything that's happened, but in the future, we are actually still willing to work with Del Toro and Kojima on a Silent Hill game? Then why the fuck is this canceled if you're still willing to work with them and it could still happen?
Politics and money, it's got to be money. I said it in my vlog about the cult of Kojima. I felt like people were knee-jerk defending him without understanding the circumstances of what was going on. I felt like it was money. Whether it's they cut the budget of his game and he didn't like that, which is understandable, or whether he kind of was playing the CM Punk card where he's like his contract was up for renewal, which is factual. His contract is up for renewal in the fall with Konami. And what'll tend to happen is if you're a free agent and you're under contract, when your contract is up for renewal in a couple of months, you might be like, well, maybe I want to go work with these guys. Maybe I want to go do this. It's when CM Punk's contract was about to expire in, what was it, 2011? He was suddenly like, oh, maybe I want to go to Ring of Honor. Maybe I want to go to TNA, because he wants to get as much in his contract as possible. He wants to make as much money as possible. And that's perfectly understandable, for the record. I'm not deriding Kojima for that. But his fans should be realistic about why he's fucking doing it. Either it's got to be for money in some regard. The budget of his game or his actual take-home pay. It's one or the other.
I don't know. Even despite how, why, or the what. But everything I end up boiling down to is this sucks because I wanted a new Silent Hill, and I was this close. And
there'll be a new Silent Hill, and my problem with PT is it wasn't Silent Hill. It would have been a great horror game. It wouldn't have been fucking Silent Hill. I don't think it would have. What I played in the PT demo was not Silent Hill. It made it abundantly clear to me that Kojima doesn't understand Silent Hill. Every single thing that people criticized, Homecoming and Downpour and all the other games, for all the Western developed games, Origins and the like, fucking PT demo was absolutely guilty of. Jump scares, generic fucking monster design. Hey, look, it's a lady in a dress who's pale and has gunk around her eyes and mouth. Like, fuck, I've never seen that before in the ring.
That actually sounds like something that might be outside of a van whenever you go to a Black Veil Bride show. Just waiting there.
That sounds like a member of the Black Veil Brides.
Well, it could have been a roadie, it could have been a singer. We're not quite sure, but we have people looking into it right now.
See, now you're using the word singer in the loosest possible sense of the word. Every time I hear the singer of the Black Veil Brides, I think, blow your fucking nose.
Well, yeah. It's always like this. I'm just like, oh man, you know what? I wish that you would just fucking Fleshlight plus Blender equals your weekend.
It's beyond. It's like the fucking emo equivalent of Snuffleupagus. Like, it's just all you can hear are his sinuses when he sings. It's fucking gross. The guy, and he's pitchy as fuck. But now we're just ranting about the Black Veil Bride.
Yeah, and
the bright side, at least Wednesday 13 is getting some work as a vocal trainer, so there's that.
Okay,
and there's like 6 people who know who Wednesday 13 is.
If he's a fucking vocal trainer, he's also doing some shit nighttime as a fucking fluffer. I guarantee it. So and beyond all of that, that's his real vocal training. But
it does loosen the throat.
It does. Then it starts getting clogged and stuff, and you have to go. Damn it, Bob! Why'd you do that again?
Dude, if fellatio seriously relaxes the throat, then Andy of the Black Veil Bride's throat muscles are looser than the slots at Reno. Seriously.
Wait! Slots at Reno, Konami.
Dan, all comes full circle. I bring it right back.
There was something. Okay, this is a question. I don't know if either of you know this or anybody, even the fucking comments, might know this. But okay, if Kojima leaves, does he actually take his entire studio with him? Like, are they just kind of the band of merry men, and wherever they go, he goes?
I suspect that what's going to happen is similar to what happened to Team Silent, and people have still not forgiven Konami for what they did to Team Silent. They basically gutted the studio.
Yep.
They basically cut the fuck out of their budget, and then it pretty much disintegrated in slow motion. It's why, even though Silent Hill 4, which is my favorite game in the series, and I think it's very underrated, Silent Hill 4 is not considered a legitimate Team Silent game, even though the Team Silent logo is on the game, and there are certain people, a lot of people actually, from the original Team Silent that worked on the game. But it's because, like, after 2, people started going away. And even on 3, which fanboys, for some reason, consider that the best in the series. I don't personally, but, like, 3...
I always rock with 2.
3 is considered to be like one of the better entries in the series. That game, like, I'm not exactly sure why, if you consider 4 to not be a legitimate Silent Hill game because certain members were gone, why you would consider 3, because just as many members had left the fucking team by that point. They were losing members. It was a slow bleed, really, and basically, by the time 4 was released, Team Silent had effectively dissolved.
Well, see, one of the reasons why I was curious about that was because Kojima's little production studio, he actually has quite a few of the key members of staff of Team Silent with him.
Yeah, no, a lot of them jumped ship to teams, and then of course there was the people who made Siren. Most of the team jumped off and did the Siren thing, which is whoa.
Siren unfortunately isn't nearly as up to par, but I say I don't think they're actually bad games. I just think that
a great idea, bad execution.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those games of you can see they have all the right ingredients. They just were like, I don't know proportion, I don't know portions, I don't know how long I cook it for, and wait, simmer or stir? I don't know, fuck it.
Yeah, great ingredients, wrong portions.
But it's one of those things that it's interesting to think about that Kojima actually has technically a little team with him that could put together potentially a really good horror game.
I think they could make a great horror game. I just don't. I take issue with it being called Silent Hill because I don't think Hideo Kojima knows enough about the lore or gives a fuck about the lore to actually have it connect with Silent Hill in any way that makes discernible sense. He's shown complete disregard in every interview where he's talked about Silent Hills for anything of the canon of the series. He doesn't give a fuck. It's because he's Kojima. He takes that ego with him to every fucking project he does. And then you bring in Guillermo del Toro, who might be a Silent Hill fan, but I don't think has the same appreciation for the lore anyways. Silent Hill is mistakenly portrayed as being incredibly canonically convoluted, essentially. That's basically the accusation. Oh, it doesn't make any sense, and it's so esoteric and bizarre. It really isn't if you know what's going on. If you actually understand the story and the background of the series, it's really not that confusing. It's weird, but it's not confusing. And I think Hideo Kojima, definitely when I played the PT demo, what I got the sense of is just this: he made the same exact mistake that Western developers made. And that is just like Tom Hullett was giving interviews. That was the guy who was in charge of the Silent Hill franchise in the West, basically, while they were making Homecoming and all these other fucking games. And he said, the one thing I brought back to the series was I made it batshit again. And it's like, it's not batshit. You just don't understand it. So Hideo Kojima kind of took the same exact approach. It's going to be weird and bizarre. And no, motherfucker. Like, it's just... If you just explain it and tell a good fucking story, it'll be a proper Silent Hill game. But I don't think he was interested in that. He wanted to make his little horror game, which I think would be a great horror game, but it wouldn't be fucking Silent Hill.
See, I would actually be okay with the idea of it just them making a brand new IP outright.
I think that's what they should have done, but I suspect maybe Kojima didn't have a hand in this. Maybe Konami was like, hey, you want to make a horror game? Fucking we own Silent Hill. You know, maybe it was like that. The one thing that makes me think that isn't the case is that Hideo Kojima was flapping his gums for years about wanting to make a Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling it was Kojima and not Konami.
Well, a lot of the really big companies have this complete stigma of creating a new IP altogether. They would rather somebody with ideas apply them to something that's pre-existing and then consider an evolution. And you know, while that has worked many a time successfully, no less, it's not always the best route to go, because if you already have 1,000 of this, let's get something new in there, and we can continue with that and this at the same time. I would rather have a full catalog than just, you know, lots of options for this one entree.
Yeah, it's funny how applicable this argument is to all other forms of media. You and I watched wrestling, right? What is WWE's #1 problem right now? Well, for the last 15 years...
Vince McMahon!
for the last 15 years, they didn't build any new fucking stars. That was their problem. So now they're still milking people like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they're bringing the Undertaker's reanimated corpse out to WrestleMania every single year. The man's about to fall into dust, and he's at WrestleMania every single year because he's the only fucking draw. It's like, and it's because they didn't do the one star they built in this entire time was John fucking Cena. You know, Brock Lesnar, who everybody creams their jeans over, isn't a genuine star, because if he was, when he was featured on the top of Raw, they wouldn't be pulling in sub-2 or sub-3 ratings rather. It's fucking bullshit. They don't have any stars, right? Same thing with Hollywood. Hollywood's the same way. Everybody complains that there's too many sequels. Well, it's because nobody's building any new fucking franchises. Because they're all taking the safe fucking route. Konami is the exact same way, and they're not alone. It's the entire goddamn video game industry.
Yeah, unfortunately, going the safe route isn't how... Going the safe route is really good short term. And especially financially, in many ways. You're not going to have to spend as much. You already have the attention. You already have an install base that's pre-existing and aware. And just run with that. But the downside to it is, again, you get things that are put out that just have the name slapped on it that shouldn't have the name slapped on it. And then you start watering down that name until it no longer merits value.
Yeah, so, I want to make this abundantly clear. I want to make this abundantly clear, and I kind of alluded to it already. I think the PT demo was a good horror demo. I just don't think it was a good Silent Hill demo. Right? I would have had no fucking problem with it if it didn't have fucking Silent Hill slapped on it. And look, I hate Twin Perfect. I think their YouTube channel fucking sucks. But they nailed the problem with Kojima producing Silent Hill. And they had played the PT demo, you know, back to front a gajillion fucking times. These are people who are experts in fucking Silent Hill lore, even though they cherry pick their fucking sources, and that's a whole rant for a whole other day. One that I already recorded, incidentally.
Shameless plug!
Shameless plug returns. We didn't even need Sainted for that one.
We didn't need him anyway.
But yeah, like fucking that at the end of the day was my problem. Is it felt like a cool horror game. If it was a horror game that Kojima had made, I would have played the fuck out of it. Because I'm not interested in Metal Gear Solid. But Kojima is a good game designer. He still, at the end of the day, has some interesting ideas. He made fucking Snatcher. He's made other good games. Police Knots was great. Like, there's nothing innately wrong with Kojima. I think it's Metal Gear Solid I have more of an issue with.
But by the way, it just as a random thing for everybody out there, if they're not aware of, there's a game called Snatcher SD. I don't know if anybody really knows it fucking exists, but it's a version of Snatcher on the MSX, and it's a full-blown turn-based RPG. And it's fantastic. Like, it is absolutely fantastic. And this group got together, they did a little a fan translation of it. I mean, fucking perfected it. And on top of it, fixed some problems with the game. Some actual glitches in it. Just went inside, fixed them all up. Cool as shit. I found it online, and yeah, it's just amazing. And it kills me because I want Snatcher SD, Police Knots put onto a disc and released in a store, because I I have the game. I have Snatcher sitting over there, and I want them to release Snatcher so I can buy it.
What do you have it on? Computer or Sega CD?
What? Snatcher. Or Snatcher. Well, the original Snatcher, I've actually got 2 copies of it. I've got the original on Sega CD, which is my baby. Then up there, I have it on the PC Engine CD. Yeah. And then I've got the ROMs of them downloaded because that was the only fucking way to play them. Because I sure as shit back in the day wasn't gonna cough up like several.
Dude, before eBay, that was the only fucking way to go. I remember when I first played Snatcher. It was a goddamn ROM too, you know, because you could not get you guys don't understand how convenient it is now to have fucking Amazon and eBay and shit. For us old farts who, like the Undertaker, are about to turn into dust. No, it's very convenient.
No, it's one of those things like every time that I think about these things existing, I'm like, why don't you just put these back up? But yes, Snatcher on PSN and on Xbox Live and on Wii U and all that shit and on Steam and whatever the fuck else that you can go and apply this to, yeah. I will throw money at. I will literally rebuy it just to support the fucking thing.
So the fan translation of that game is good though?
Well, it's. The fan translation is of Snatcher SD, which is like a completely that one is fantastic. Like through is phenomenal. Because
I was just doing for my Breath of Fire retrospective. Speaking of shameless plugs,
plug.
I was talking about the Breath of Fire 2 fan translation, which is fucking incredible.
Yep,
it's absolutely superb. Like normally, especially with Capcom and Konami games that are localized, man, from the 90s. How much did they what did they spend on the translation for those fucking, like, handful of pocket lint, here you go. Like, fucking, translate our game for it. Like, some of these games, you're listening to this bullshit, like, fucking, are you enacting a vendetta against the English language? What the hell is going on?
Dude, some of them do turn out like absolute shit. I'll definitely say Squaresoft was pretty infamous quite a few times where you go into a game like, what did you do there?
Oh, dude. and the original, the first 2 Breath of Fire games, actually I think Breath of Fire 2 was all Konami, but Breath of Fire 1, people forget, was Konami and Squaresoft collaborating together. The 2 worst translators in games. We're lucky they got to English, okay?
Oh, here's something interesting. The microphone, what it's setting up on, because I am super cool, is the Konami Justifier gun for PS1, which I've got that. It's in it's just a box. The gun's actually sitting upstairs.
You and Keith Apicary.
Dude. No fucking joke, this gun is the shit, and there was one big-time reason I wanted it. Die Hard Trilogy on PS1. Yeah, the little, when you go into Die Hard 2, which we try to just forget that some of the segments in the movie happen, but the game, it plays just like Virtua Cop, and you need the Justifier gun for that, or else you're just moving the crosshair with your D-pad, and then you're moving the controller from your hand into the TV. So it doesn't work out too well, and you need the fucking gun. Either way, we're so terribly off topic. And Yo Chaos is slipped into a coma and just has a rotating image of himself playing all the time.
Do you see what Kojima does to me? Do you see what Kojima does to me? You've driven me to drink by talking about Hideo Kojima. And that's just the way things are. But please, continue. I'll be over here in a coma.
Well, no, we don't want you in a coma. We want you. You got a Battletoads shirt on. Did you get that? Did you have to call up GameStop several million times to try to get that?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did, and they had to order it from a third party, and then they sold it to me online in their store.
Oh, well, aren't you fucking fancy? I have a Dark Funeral shirt on.
Yeah. Dark Funeral, Dark Throne. Look at us, tag team champions of the world.
It always makes me. It's funny because I went and I was going out and about with my kid, going and getting Pizza Hut pizza while wearing this. Yeah. Boy, do you get some strange looks. just tossing that out there. Oh, and then on top of that, he likes the Celtic Frost fucking banner that we have in the living room because it's brand new. Just hung it up, and he's like, "Oh, that's so neat." And I'm just like. And he doesn't know what the fuck half the shit on it is, but he's like, that guy looks like he's wearing a top hat. He looks like a snake. And I'm like, all right. Sorry, just tossing it out there. It amused me.
Daddy, why am I named Damien?
Wait, no, he says that and his head starts turning on 360. Why am I named Damien? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Just please keep my soul out of your mouth, you know.
And put the dog down.
Yeah, put the dog down and quit vomiting all over the fucking priest. God damn it. I'm not paying for that dry cleaning again. Sons of bitches. But anyhow, so yeah, Silent Hill, I hope we see another one soon. I hope Team Silent comes back, as you know, I'm gonna gather all the Dragon Balls together and I'll fucking make that proper wish. I swear it'll happen. Oh, and the game will be free. There. That would be part of the wish too. So yes.
Yeah, that'll just solve all of your financial hardships. Just release it out there for free. But if I could segue into something else, because let's face it, that's what I do around here. Speaking of financial trouble, the fine folks, and you notice I'm using the term fine folks very liberally, the people over at the Ouya company, you know, the people that put out that console that you wondered why you were supposed to care about it, only to find out that it was like OnLive 2.0.
Hey, not if you asked some of the websites that were covering all the news about it. They swore it was the second coming of fucking Christ in video game form. Because, you know, that bandwagon, oh, let's hop on. Fucking mooks.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the fucking mooks, because, and speaking of mooks, CEO Julie Ehrman of the Ouya company, see what I did there? Called her a mook. She sent out an email. You notice I'm swirling my drink while I do this. She sent out an email to many of their investors. Now, let's not forget, this was a company that was built from the ground up by you fine people, and I'm not saying the hate-bit audience in particular, but built through crowdfunding and kickstarting, only to find out that they're now seeking a buyer. And I wonder, how does a company, now, and I'll get to the ramifications of this, in a minute, but how does a company that begged its way to, let's face it, the bottom of the middle, somehow now have the audacity to sell a company that is not theirs? This to me is like what I talked about on this very podcast just a few years ago when these things first started, because I was under the impression, and I was of the mind, that these could be a great thing. But this ultimately shows exactly what I said. This is what happens when you give young people money with responsibility behind it. I know I sound like kind of a cranky old fuck when I say that, but this is exactly what I said would happen. This is
welcome to the Get Off My Porch hour with Yell Chaos.
If I had a porch, I would, but that's not the point. So now you're making fun of me because I'm poor and I drink cheap whiskey.
Hey, cheap whiskey is actually pretty good. I'm going to return in like 1 second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Well, while Alpha Omega Sin tries not to wet himself, we'll go on further with... So there was an email released from CEO Julie Ehrman that says, that she notes, giving our debt holders timeline, the process will be quick in searching for a new buyer. And we are looking for expressions of interest by the end of this month, meaning actually this was in April. So as of yesterday. I don't know if that really came about, but, and Mr. Fisk, please feel free to rein in on this if you find it interesting.
I don't understand. The Ouya came about as a result of a fucking Kickstarter. Like, what? Who's holding debt on a fucking Kickstarter? Like, what, did they just overextend themselves after the initial push? I don't understand exactly what happened here. Presumably, they had no financial risk involved whatsoever. So how do you wind up being in debt on something that was literally just free money?
Well, not to mention, and something that didn't show up in the big-time news is that just a little while ago, I think at the beginning of the year, they received something like a $10 million investment from some Chinese company called... I had it here in my note. Alibaba.
Isn't that a character in WCW versus NWO World Tour? Isn't that?
It's also a character in the Three Stooges, so you're getting where we're going with this. WCW and the Three Stooges. You've got to be able to detect a pattern by this time.
With their CEO, Mo Howard.
And this is a company that initially raised something like $8 million, and goodness knows how much money they spent trying to get into E3. And of course, now Alpha Omega Sin and I had a discussion about this before the program began, about how this was, I don't know what was to be expected, because they were trying to cram, let's face it, outpaced hardware into an already saturated market. And I'm of the mind, as I've said before, that this could have been a great thing. This could have been an alternative for all the small-time developers, and this turned into nothing more than a fucking Ponzi scheme. And I apologize for my language, but hey, welcome to the Hate Bit Podcast. Are you new?
Yeah, when did that console come out? 2013? Is that about
something like that? And I'm pretty sure it's outpaced by my Samsung Galaxy, and I hate this fucking thing.
And they immediately turned it into a hey, play mobile games without all that pesky mobile stuff.
Yeah. Fuck all that mobility going outside and shit.
Yeah.
Well, everybody knows the main reason why they bought an Ouya from day one. And they had even used it for a brief amount of time before they wisened up, but you weren't too wise to begin with to even showcase this as being one of the main reasons to purchase it, but it was for emulation.
Yeah.
That's it. It was an emulating machine. That thing could play can actually play all sorts of random ass shit. And that's pretty fucking badass, but I can point to 1,000 different items that everybody has that can emulate without the need of buying an Ouya.
Yeah.
Chaos brought up, okay, Samsung Galaxy. Got one right here. Guess what? I'm able to go and get a fucking, I can get like a PS3 controller. Here, fuck it. I can get this bitch or a fucking 360 controller, which I don't know where my 360 controller is. And these motherfuckers can be linked together, and guess what? I can start playing the games that exact way.
Yep.
And this has a fucking TV out on it, or HDMI out, so it can go to a TV. Why the fuck do I need an Ouya again? Don't know.
Well, and it really seems like, you're right, it seems like that was their big selling point, is this is going to be an emulation device. It's almost as if the young lady who had so much audacity just 1 year ago, Miss Julie Ehrman, said, "Hi, I'm starting a company, please sue me." And we wondered where $18 million went.
Well, here's something interesting about the failure of the Ouya and the current position of the system, is that this should be a constant reminder to every other company out there right now of what not to do. The market is there's no room in the market right now.
There's
fucking zero.
And it's like, oh god, this would be like a whole other rant. But I mean, you got the three main consoles right now, and let's take Nintendo out of the picture entirely, because they actually, in terms of software sales, are doing all right. Fucking PS4 and Xbox One are number 1 and 2, right? Well, fucking and PS4, God, it was just announced they hit what, 22, almost 23 million units sold, some outlandish number.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody throws them a parade, but there's a little-known statistic, something that it doesn't take very long to figure out, but there has yet to be a PS4 game that has broken 3 million units sold 2 years out of release. That is bad, especially in a day and age where there are games that are selling 2.5 million copies and not raking in a profit because of how big fucking game budgets have gotten. How do you look at that environment in the industry and say to yourself, you know what, I think it's time for a console that's technically inferior and has no fucking software library, and it basically is a mobile console without all the mobility? Like, how does that sentence ever get said out loud in front of other human beings without any trace of irony whatsoever? I don't understand it at all.
Well, not to mention, they also have the market penetration in retail stores as that of, let's face it, the Paddington Bear books get more shelf space than the Ouya.
Dude, it's interesting because I've seen the Ouya twice ever. Both times was at Target. And the first time I saw it, I had somebody take a picture of me holding the Ouya in a store because I wanted people to believe I actually found one while I was out and about. And it was... I mean, it's depressing, to be honest. It's the Ouya. All it is emulation. I'll get a regular first-generation Xbox.
Well, not to mention, they also sell it right next to all the busted open packages of the Moga, handheld set for your phone. It's almost like the people at Target or the people at Walmart, or I'm pretty sure that's all the department stores that are left, Dillard's, It almost seems like those people. You don't have Dillards. I'm fucking with you. There's no more Dillards. It almost seems like those people are trying to send some sort of a message without really knowing it.
The placement of it was exactly as you said. It was in an area where, I mean, it had just crap. Like, all the random crap. You know how everybody has that one junk drawer in their house? That it has no rhyme, reason, or theme to it. It's just all the random shit you couldn't figure out what to do. Well, that was the Ouya. So, it was just fucked. Like, right from the get-go. They weren't pushing it or anything. It was kind of like the PSP Go. Like, no one knew about it or really wanted it. It was just kind of there. It was fucking depressing, really. Poor Ouya. You had a sliver of potential, and you couldn't even meet 1/100th of it.
Well, not only that, is the Ouya seemed to be one in an absolute tidal wave of these things that seemed to come, what was that, around E3 2013? I think that was about 2 years ago. And I could be wrong. It may have been as recent as last E3. But there was just this tidal wave of Android-based consoles, and I think Google even had one.
Yeah.
And Amazon has, and they've all basically just shriveled up like vine-ripened tomatoes. And they're gone now, and it seems like it set this precedent for a short period that there was going to be expansion in the game sector. We've since found out that that's not the case. But yeah, so it just seems like poor practices in spending just permeate this industry. It's just like World Championship Wrestling.
Somebody had brought up in the comments. They said the Ouya is like the N-Gage. In a lot of ways, it really is. It's a device that nobody fucking asked for, in a market that it didn't fit into, and it got put out there anyway. It's fucking depressing. Except for it's not shaped like a taco. It's shaped like
I like to think of it more as like the Emerson Arcadia. It's a machine similar to things that other people have tried and failed, but let's fucking do it anyway.
I'd like to think of it as it's an electronic device in the shape of Spam once you get it out of the can. So,
or square cranberry sauce.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it needs to maintain its shape and jiggle a little bit, or else I don't want it.
Well, we're Americans. We love things that jiggle.
That's true. Yeah. But it is. It's the Ouya. Fuck the Ouya. The only people that have it pretty much are just like, it's an emulation machine on the go. It's kind of nice for MAME. There we go. There. I said something positive about it. And it takes up very little space.
Yeah, well, so do lots of things, and that's how they get lost.
I tried. I put effort in.
That's true. My bad.
Everything was a little bit half-cocked. I mean, if you wanted to take the Ouya a little further, if you really wanted to make it an emulation machine, which probably would have gotten the Ouya sued to shit. Like the emulation features weren't really spotlighted by the actual Ouya people. It was just something that, it's like, shh, by the way, it's an emulation machine. You know what I mean? Because technically it's illegal still. But, if they really wanted to take that further, they could have gone hog wild with it. Can you imagine if they supported, online multiplayer with those or something? They could have done something really cool that I think would have actually appealed to a larger market, which is to say any market at all, as opposed to the one that they have.
Dude,
but yeah. And the distribution, you were dead on right about distribution. I have only ever seen an Ouya box. Once in my ever-loving life, I saw it at Target on a bottom shelf. That's it.
And it was dirty, wasn't it?
It was the loneliest, dustiest box I've ever seen.
Dude, it's one of those things, I'm telling you. They could have succeeded with it had they just given a fuck. I mean, they did stupid shit like, okay, we're going to make it completely open-ended where you can do anything and everything that you want on it, including, they're trying to get developers for the Ouya, which is a system that you can just steal all the games on.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is going to want to make exclusive games for you when you market it as something you can
this
steal?
Generation, Sony and Microsoft almost pulled restrictive DRM and shit. And you're gonna launch the Ouya and be like, fucking anyone can steal anything. Clearly, developers pressured Sony and Microsoft to go that route, You think developers are going to be on board with, fuck, take it all?
Yeah.
Fucking pass the wine.
Dude, it makes no sense. And you know, when your only saving grace is emulation, like, you know, I'll get a regular fucking Xbox. I'll get a modded Nintendo Wii. I'll get a fucking PSP. All those do emulation a fuck ton better. And are actual useful systems, whereas the Ouya has that awkward-ass control. If anybody has ever held the Ouya controller, you are holding plastic shit. Everything about it is fucking bad. And I won't go as far as to say, you know, it's a bad first-party controller, because that would actually mean that they are a first-party company. They're a fucking turd. You know, the Jaguar controller was fucking bad. The Intellivision controller was bad. The ColecoVision controller was bad.
Yeah, you just get the sense like Ouya isn't even a company. It's just like a random conglomeration of stoners that sit around and they're like, should we like do something, or like fucking like they're like earthquake scientists. Like their job expectation is so preposterously low.
Well, my point of view is I really think that they're more akin to like the Napoleon Bonaparte of game companies. They're going to march headlong into the snowstorm, and whether it's going to work or not, we don't care. We're just going to go. I mean, really, at the base of this, they should have just taken all the money they had and invested it into developing software in international waters where no one can sue them, first and foremost. Secondly, they thought they were going to take on this industry with $18 million. Sony can pick $18 million out of their teeth. And Ouya thought that they were, you know, going to make a dent on this thing with $18 million. Yeah. You can't even buy a fleet of vehicles for $18 million.
And apparently you can't get your fucking console sold in stores either.
You can't even get it to the people that fucking paid for it.
Yep.
There was more dust. There was more dust particles on the fucking Ouya box than there was people interested in it. That should say something.
It's true, and it hurts me inside. It really does.
Doesn't hurt me. Fuck that thing. I'll prop a door open with it. Yeah.
No, I've held it. That fucker couldn't prop open a door. It's like, you know, you remember the...
okay, well, here. I'm going to glue it to a fucking wall. It's going to be a sturdy doorstop every time. You think that thing's going to slam into the wall and cause a dent? No. Ouya, useful. There you go.
It could weigh down your tissues. That's what you could use it for.
It can't weigh down the tissues of the fucking VP of the company, apparently, because that motherfucker's going through them like it's going out of style.
Just crying and shit left and right and shouting at people in Los Angeles. For those of you who remember the company that had so much money, they decided to advertise at E3 with a bullhorn and then got a ticket for the bullhorn. That's what I think. I think the ticket for the bullhorn bankrupted the company. That's what it was.
They were like, "Get the fuck out of here. Go back to the parking lot." And they were like, "Okay." Like, way to go, champ. Oh God! Oh, I'm happy and sad at the same time. Sad for them. Like when you watch something and you cringe, you're like, So anyway, the Ouya sucks. The end. There you go. I summed it up.
We've devoted more time and thought into the fucking console than the makers of it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, we have done a better push for the Ouya than they could have ever tried.
Yeah.
And so we got that going for us. And you are right here to witness it, right here on the Hate Bit Podcast. And we're going to go and take some questions out of the comment box in just a second. But I want to remind each and every one of you that down below is all the contact information to find myself, Alpha Omegasin, and Razorfist. Again, all of us in that order, we make YAR. And that's super cool for the Atari fans. And I want to remind you to follow us on your Facebook, on your Twitter, and don't forget, give us a sub right here on YouTube. You can't miss.
Oh, hon, somebody said show us your butts.
No, it's not happening.
So there. You like that? Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to help out, shake my my $5 moneymaker.
Don't tell me you don't get a Class A experience right here on the Hate Bit Podcast. You know you do.
I don't make my money from the back. I make it from the front.
But you make most of your money on your back.
No, yeah, it depends. You know, you put the arms up and under, you get that fucking leverage, and you just start going to work, and it's all core. just go from there, man.
It's like the total gym.
Yeah, it's a total gym. Assuming the bitch can keep herself actually propped up, that's a good time.
Yeah, man, we got to get Chuck Norris in here. That'll make this, really just.
Dude, I hope that there's total gym workout fucking porn out there at some point. Or like the Bowflex porn. Oh, that'd be great.
Somebody get decapitated in that shit. I'm always nervous looking at the Bowflex.
Dude, I went down to the thrift store the other day with my brother. We go down there, and we're like, oh, let's go see what the fuck they have. Outside, they have one of those big rolling plastic tub bins, and it's the Bowflex in pieces. Dude, it looked like a Kinect set for men blew up, and it's just everywhere, and I'm like, Jesus fuck my eye Christ, look at this goddamn contraption. It was a clusterfuck of manliness and
yeah, it does look like a Da Vincian fucking Renaissance flying machine or something, doesn't it? It looks like there should be diagrams of a human being with 6 arms.
The fucking Wright brothers look at that and they're like, we could work with that. Mm-hmm. Like it's fucked, man.
That's not even a machine; it's an apparatus.
Dude, it's one of those things, like, you look at it, it's kind of like if somebody hands you a big pile, like, you open up a box for a Lego set with no instructions, you just have math confusion on your face. You're like, I don't fucking fuck. that was the Bowflex inside that tub. I was just confused and bewildered. I'm like, I don't know. For all I know, that could be like a boat.
It's rods and a bench. You use your imagination.
Oh, somebody mentioned Movie Bob. He's our favorite, don't you know? Movie Blob, he's the best. Number 1.
Do we have enough room to fit him into discussion?
No, we're just on the internet. Obviously, there isn't enough room for that fat slovenly fuck.
They don't make any bands that broad. They don't have them.
We're talking about the Bowflex, and then all of a sudden, Movie Bob comes up, and it's like, wait a minute, how the fuck did that transition occur?
Yeah.
Hey, don't say we don't have great range right here on this goddamn program.
So what question do you chaps want to go and take
Well,
up?
somebody, Morgoth Did Nothing Wrong, is just flooding this section with what do we think of wrestling outside of WWE. And frankly, as I like to call it, real professional wrestling, because what WWE does is a television show.
Yeah.
But all the ones that he's rattling off, ROH, TNA, CZW, is garbage. Thank you. We hope you had a great time.
Oh, dude, no way. Ring of Honor is actually quite good.
I disagree.
TNA stepped their shit up once they
TNA's shows have actually been pretty good lately. It's a shame they're doing so bad. They're on a fucking network I've never heard of. That's their problem.
Yeah, they're on like the Family Channel, aren't they?
They're on Destination America. Yep. Which is like, you have to have premium cable first off to get this channel, which is number 1, you're setting yourself up for fucking failure. And then it's like, it's not even a channel that wrestling fans would be watching. Like
that sounds like one of those channels that just plays like the Golden Girls and Seventh Heaven in a loop.
It was a terrible, terrible move for them. They needed at least to be on basic cable.
Well, here's the thing.
They could be on Comedy Central.
For fuck's sake. All the networks on basic cable, you couldn't. What? You mean True TV has too much going on to have some fucking some TNA wrestling? Like, when you're too bargain basement for True TV, come on,
dude. One of the smartest things that they could do is they went with somebody who was dirt fucking cheap. And they got primetime, access and all that shit for their show, and that's all good. I want to see a company go to someone like fucking Netflix or Hulu and be like, we're gonna upload weekly on here.
That would be cool.
You got a huge fucking install base. Like, no fucking joke. If Netflix said, hey, we're picking up TNA and Ring of Honor. Because WWE has their fucking app. They're not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I'm counting down the days before they decide to go and leave USA, which probably won't ever happen because those fucking numbers on the app are not pulling in what the fuck they think they would. But if somebody like TNA or Ring of Honor actually jump ship onto something like that, dude, they do so much fucking better for themselves. And I truly like watching other stuff. Do I watch as often as Raw? No, I don't. I'm behind on Raw. I usually just watch fucking highlights because I'm fast.
No, you're not. You saw it last year. You saw it this year.
It's true. It is. That is kind of Raw's problem. Is it's basically the same episode over and over again until they hit WrestleMania the next year, and then everything changes.
Nothing changes. It starts over again. It's like the odometer on your car. It goes back to 0.
Well, dude, if Raw want to do something smart, they'd actually look at the fucking NXT product, which is still under the same umbrella, and it's better. It's more entertaining, literally.
I want to argue with that point, actually. I keep getting people blowing smoke up my ass all damn day about how great NXT is. NXT is not the future of World Wrestling Federation. Apparently, Tough Enough is the future of World Wrestling Federation, which will really piss off the people on the NXT roster, because those guys worked for years to get to be in the big time, the World Wrestling Federation. And then some fucking asshole from Asheville, North Carolina, who used to be a Marine, could just walk onto a reality program and be on WWF for a year? What kind of program is that? Secondly, NXT is just indie wrestling with a slightly bigger budget. They have no intention of WWF ever looking like that. I'm done.
Oh, no, and you know what? That's completely true, but that's kind of why I like it, because it feels so disconnected from their current product. Like, they got I forgot what the fuck it's called. It's the Florida Championship Wrestling, I think it is.
Championship Wrestling from Florida?
They have that, and, you know, actually a lot of their current stars that they have right now came from NXT and a couple other things. And the weird thing about it is I don't even want them to bring some of their guys from NXT, because I feel like they're just going to get misused whenever they bring them up to Raw. I mean, holy fuck. Some of the people have worked out pretty well, but I enjoy watching that show because the matches, it's not the same song and dance routine of, you got to do your special move or else this match can't end.
Yeah, you better turn your elbow pad inside out.
Yeah, it's like, you know, they go through the same tropes over and over again, and it just, like, it fucking bugs me, because it's just the same old, same old. Like, the fucking Divas division, which I hate calling that, the fucking women's division, women wrestlers, oh shit.
No, wait. To be fair, they don't actually wrestle. They more or less headlock for 4.5 minutes.
Dude, did you see the actual NXT matches? Because they don't do that. They've actually outshined.
No, I wasn't talking about them, but I know what you mean.
Dude, on there, that shit's amazing. Actually, TNA for a while, I would argue that their women's wrestling outshined tons of other areas. It was fucking phenomenal. I'm like, dude, this is the shit right here. What do we get? Fucking half-assed matches with the goddamn fucking Bella Twins coming out. One with fucking fake tits, the other one with no tits, and then everybody just going and taking a piss break. Awesome stuff. Can't wait for that.
No, it is. Dude, the fucking Divas division is the piss break division.
Yeah, it pretty much is. And
hey, you have a bladder. You need to urinate. Have we got a division for you?
Oh, and if it's not the
By the way, Mountain Dew.
If it's not the Divas matches that are making you go take a piss, it's usually when Big Show decides to come out and have a match. Then you know that you can go and take a fucking piss break. Because that motherfucker, I don't know how the hell he's still around. That fucking blows my mind.
I'd rather fucking watch him than this Adrian Neville cat that seems to think that a backwards double axle flip is, you know, means you're a good worker. I don't know. You might think that I'm bitter or whatever, but I'm really tired of short, ugly, roided up white guys. I've fucking had it with this shit.
You know what I'm tired of is fucking fat guys in khaki cargo shorts. That's what I'm tired of, CZW. That's what I don't want to see ever again. You can say guys in baggy clothing. You're not a wrestler.
CZW, CZW, a lot of people are like, but that's the modern day ECW. False.
Yeah,
I've been to tons of ECW shows. I know fucking tons about ECW. CZW is just gross to watch.
Yeah, fucking CZW's retarded. Fucking Austin 316 says, I just kicked your ass. CZW 316 says, I just broke my neck in a backyard in front of 5 fucking people. That's what CZW says.
And I have no insurance.
I have no insurance.
And my friend's chasing me around with a lawnmower blade.
Yeah,
with all the fucking blood they spill, why don't they just try... They should take that fucking mat and just wring it out into vials. The fucking Red Cross would be off your ass in no time. Because that's what they're doing. They're donating blood to the mat.
What other questions should we tackle outside of wrestling?
Before we go too far along, I want to say that Lucha Underground's a bunch of bullshit too.
I still haven't seen that.
No, I've actually enjoyed Lucha Underground, but unfortunately they're not doing well. They're talking about possibly filing for bankruptcy, which sucks. They just started.
Too much goddamn money on the promos. They look like movies, and you can't do that every week.
Yeah, they're not doing so well. So.
And they've also got Matt Stryker, and you can say about that what you want to say about that. But.
At least it ain't Taz.
Oh, I remember Taz before he was orange. Remember that?
I remember Taz when he was a wrestler. Remember that?
Oh,
I remember him when he was still coming as like the Tasmanian Devil. So that was always good.
One that keeps coming up from Kishiro Guy, who comes to my program all the time. He wants to know, what are some of your favorite female bands and or musicians? I want to get one out because I want to be a cool guy and say Yellow Machine Gun, because I say Yellow Machine Gun every single time I'm asked that. They're a Japanese grindcore band from Kyoto, I think, and they're all in their mid-40s now, and their music is impossible to come by. So
yeah, I'm gonna go with another Japanese band. These chicks are legends. Shoya are fucking amazing. They're like all-female Judas Priest, and they were doing this shit in the mid '80s. I mean, they're just badass, and they still make pretty good albums.
I guess let's see. I'll go with was it Leather Leone? Is that how you pronounce her name?
Oh fuck yeah,
Leather Leone. You know, she did her solo shit, but I always preferred Chastain. That's how I found her. So I guess that's why.
I know you. Yeah. Well, if we're gonna go that far back, don't forget about the Great Cat.
Oh, well, dude! Oh my God, she's so fucking hot.
I would wear that woman like an oven mitt.
She probably looks like a catcher's mitt these days.
No, dude. She looks all right, actually. She hasn't aged a day. It's creepy.
Well, she's doing better than Lita Ford, we can say that.
Much better than Lita Ford. It's like, you like how Lita Ford combs her hair over her entire face now? Like, we get it, you're old, but you're not going to hide your crow's feet with a big fucking curtain flap in front of your face.
But she is doing what we hoped that Joan Jett would have done years ago.
Oh, God. You like how Joan Jett is still bullshitting all of us and saying she didn't have any plastic surgery?
Or that she doesn't dye her hair?
Yeah, I was actually just on Vince Russo's podcast, and we were talking about Joan Jett, and I was like, we both agreed at a certain point she had to have gotten one of those skin peels from Star Trek Insurrection.
I thought she got the one that Doc Brown had in Back to the Future Part 2, with the hair and a change of blood.
It's like, come on, your fucking teeth are chiclets. Who do you think you're kidding? I've had nothing done. Yeah, you're Mr. Potato Head.
Oh man, and who else sticks out? Someone that doesn't is Dorothea Pesch from Warlock, or Doro, as a lot of people know her.
Doro Pesch, I love her. She's amazing.
Doro, she's showing her age. And for some reason, there's something sexy about it. I don't know what it is.
It's because she's not having work done. She's actually aging gracefully. She's gonna turn into an old lady, but she's got those German supermodel genes, so she's not aging like normal people. So
yeah, but then it's all gonna come to a head all at once, and she's gonna look like the witch from Hansel and Gretel. It's gonna happen. You know it will.
There's actually, I had shared this recently because I just stumbled across them. I was fucking racking my brain, but this is pretty fresh. It's short-lived, but still, as Phantom Blue.
Yeah. There's another one, Ice Age, from Sweden, that were a thrash band, all-female thrash band, and one of their members wound up joining Sentinel Beast, I believe, which a lot more people are aware of. But their fucking Ice Age was incredible, but they had a shitty manager, so they never went anywhere. I mean, they were a great technical thrash band, all female, in the mid to late 80s. Like, they were striking right as the iron was hot. There was no reason for them not to be famous, and then they released like 3 demos. Their manager fucked them over, and they just went away. It's like,
see, that's always a bummer, is whenever you have bands with great writing, great talent, great presence in general, and you know they can shoot for the stars, and then it's like the manager or the label is just it's shit. Like all the other things around it just suck, and they don't get out there and get as big as they should. That always breaks
that's why
my heart.
I've always believed Yngwie didn't break through and have like a #1 album or anything, is because he was on Polydor and they had no fucking money. And so he's writing these like poppy fucking hair metal albums that should have been huge and had all these catchy anthems, but they never did any fucking thing because they would record one music video and it wouldn't be played, and fucking the albums would just.
Dude, that one song was it Devil in Disguise? Is that it?
Yeah.
Dude, that song is that's fucking nuts. I legitimately consider that one of the best things I've heard in relation to him at all. And I forgot all the other people he had involved with that, like the singer and all that shit. But that song in general, I was just like, wowzers. Like I've heard him do tons of solo shit, and stuff with that vocal tracks on it. But that song,
yeah, everybody thinks of Yngwie as this big noodler, and that was why I did Metal Mythos for him. That was why that was episode 2. Like I could have picked a much more popular musician to do number 2 about, but he just wound. I think he got the short end of the stick. He's considered this guitar solo guy, and it's like, no, bullshit. He's not Steve Vai. He has written entire albums that have no guitar solos on them. He's not just a fucking noodler. He's written some badass fucking songs.
Well, wait a minute. Don't badmouth Steve Vai, because Steve Vai is a great, songwriter. Unfortunately, all his songs are about cunnilingus.
That's not true. Alcatraz.
Okay, but all right, fine. I'll have to give you that one.
Oh, wait, hold up. Baby Metal keeps getting asked about. Shut the fuck up about Baby Metal. Everybody that mentions Baby Metal only mentions it to ask what other people think about Baby Metal. That is literally the conversation of Baby Metal.
True. It's so sad.
Shut the fuck up.
Isn't it so sad? There's bands like fucking Shoya that are all female legends. Fucking, they're incredible. They made it on their own, and then 3 kids that are a product that were put together by a record company as a giant troll to the metal community are talked about more than they have ever been talked about in their lives.
Don't forget, the metal community is also still firmly entrenched in who's better, Dave Mustaine or Kirk Hammett, so don't give them too much fucking credit.
That's true. That's factual.
Dude, look, honest opinion about Baby Metal, I don't care. That's my opinion about Baby Metal, because I'm too busy listening to shit I want to listen to. So I don't fucking care. That's why I don't care about a bunch of other shit out there that people will be like, this sucks, or this greats, or let's compare. I don't fucking care. I'm in my own fucking bubble of awesome stuff. So just shut the fuck up. You want to know it? You know who you ought to ask who likes Baby Metal? You. Ask your fucking self if you like Baby Metal. Quit fucking asking everybody else. Yeah. Fucking dick knob.
Well, every few years, some bullshit fucking gimmick comes along. The crabcore thing that was like happened like 3 years ago. It's like a genre of music that just comes around just to troll people, Fucking screamo.
Dude, that's the only thing about metal that's ever fucking really bugged me, is everybody going and being like, all right, let's get whatever fucking random gimmick word that we can put right there before the word metal.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now we're
pirate metal.
Yeah. Look,
Ailstorm is not pirate metal, people. They're a fucking power metal band. They just put pirate sound effects in their music. Like, shut your fucking yap. Running Wild is not pirate metal. They just sing about pirates. They're a heavy metal band. Stop.
Yeah, all that shit just drives me up a wall. And then you have the motherfuckers that go and like they crawl up out of the woodwork the minute that they hear somebody go and say random band name and then the fucking subgenre, and they're like, no, and they fucking fix their little glasses. For your information, it happens to be 27 different subgenres, then the word metal, and I want to put my boots so far up their fucking ass, I'm gonna tie my goddamn shoe through their fucking teeth and floss them at the same time.
It's fucking horseshit. It's like they want to have. I think I did a rant about this actually. They
you do a rant? No way.
anytime they sing about a given subject, they're like, oh, I just created a fucking genre. It's like, right, I guess, okay, so if you sing about something, then you've created a fucking genre. So Running Wild created pirate metal because they sing about fucking pirates, right? And Motorhead must have created I stick my tongue in underage girls' asses metal. Like, fucking, no! It doesn't... Just because you sing about something does not mean you made a goddamn genre. Lemmy sings about diabetes. It does not mean he invented diabetes metal.
Well, fuck it. Pokemon metal. Really not that good wireless Logitech mouse metal. Remote control to my fucking TV metal. Free glass when I bought some fucking beer from the place down the street. Metal.
Dude, not only that, but how many times has Manowar sung about metal? Does that mean they invented metal?
Oh, yeah, wait, or is it called Sing About Metal?
It's like putting two mirrors in front of each other. Jesus Christ.
I got you all beat. I got you all beat. I got the heaviest metal ever. Graphite.
Oh, shit, son, damn. Like, can we have zero gravity metal where we just float around everywhere? It would be fucking great.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be so heavy.
Yeah. Somebody said Alpha's beard metal. Yes, I'd be okay with that. It's an entire album about my facial hair. It'd be fucking exquisite. It'd be fucking 11 out of 10. IGN goes and takes off points because of too much fucking water. Suck my fucking butt.
Alpha just invented "Please stop calling me Metal Jesus" metal. I think that's.
Oh wait, no, because I was actually, I like the fact that I got to make jokes about it with them, but the last convention I went to was Super BitCon, and I legitimately had somebody be like, "I love your videos." I was like, "Thanks, man." They're like, "Can I get a picture?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." They're like, "Your acapella videos are so fucking awesome and inspirational." And then they walked away, and then you just heard The Price is Right, burnt dinner, and I was like, "Fuck my eye, Christ!" And then fucking he shows up, and we meet up, and we're hanging out. It's me, him, and his wife, and one of his buddies. We're going around. Me and Smooth are looking through NES games. I'm like, by the way, 5 times today I got mistaken for you because this was the day that you were going to appear. And we just had a good fucking laugh, and when people came up, they just looked at both of us like, what the fuck do I do? It was
Dude,
good shit.
You guys could be a tag team. It'd be like The Brood, where Gangrel and Christian would just switch out.
Yeah, I dig that idea, actually. I call Stone Cold Stunner as my finisher, though, forever and ever and ever.
But not a springboard stunner like fucking Cena.
Hold up. Hold the fuck up. That Buick-shaped fucking no-neck having motherfucker going and doing that. Okay, John Cena, okay, Super Cena has been absolutely fucking just shat on for his 5 moves of doom. Decided he was gonna add into his little fucking repertoire this off the second rope. He does a stunner out of nowhere. Anytime that Cena leaves the mat, it is a train wreck. Okay, I want you to understand. I saw him do a drop kick, and I've seen people with no legs do them better. No fucking legs.
Dude, Zach Gowen could drop kick like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Holy fuck, every time he does it, it's embarrassing. Like, I know that I could do the move, but I know anybody, there's people...
Let's be real. Cena's embarrassing on the mat, too. Let's be honest.
I'm sure that his fucking wife thinks the same exact thing, so it doesn't matter. The point is, he should not be doing that. It's just, oh, fuck me. God damn it.
It does appear that he's wearing fishing weights in those cargo pockets on the side of his shorts there.
Yeah.
Well, he has nothing else downstairs weighing him down, so, you know, sometimes you gotta make do. To be fair, he's probably weighing it down with money, so, you know, he might not have,
that's true.
He lacks dick and balls, but he could definitely go and have one, like, built from the ground up scientifically and fucking attached and be great for him, but, you know, I'm all natural.
Exactly. But speaking of bitches... another group that commonly gets left out is Drain or Drain STH, depending on where they're represented in what part of the world. Sort of an industrial metal type band. We're getting back on that female metal thing if you didn't see what I was doing there. Because, you know, we might as well talk about actual bitches instead of Cena. But, and also a band that gets left out is a band called Sugar Coma, which a lot of people don't know about. And I think they come from Canada. So there's that. If you're aware of those groups at all.
They're from Canada. Not that we should hold that against them.
Somebody said pickle metal. I would be all for Vlasic pickle metal. Just one album dedicated to that fucking crunch.
Oh,
what do you think of pickle metal? I think it's perfect.
Someone said Draws can do a better drop kick than Cena. Oh.
So could Benoit's family. So there you go.
Ow.
Maybe that's what's in John Cena's cargo pockets, is pieces of Draws' vertebrae.
Well, did anybody just notice all the heat American had from women just then? God damn.
Oh, man. Tax?
We're all going to hell for that joke.
We were going to hell for the past couple of years because of this show, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so you fine folks that want to see the Hate Bit podcast live, we'll be in hell eventually.
Yeah, and you want to know what? We're probably going to get a good fucking live audience going. I would dig that.
Yeah, because they're all going to hell, each and every one of you.
Yeah, you're all listening right now. You're on the same exact fucking train to hell. But we're gonna be up front with the conductor and shit, banging fucking I don't know, demons or some shit. I'll be
honest. I'll be at the bar. If you need me, I'll be at the bar.
Oh, dude, wait, we're the Hate Bit podcast. We can bring the bar to you.
Yeah, that's true.
God, I love this show.
Did you miss us, folks?
You should.
You miss us.
Should.
Anyway, we're winding towards the end of the program. We got some time left. Don't worry. Don't freak out. I know that people in the comment section, they freak out when we get towards the end of the show, but this has to end eventually because you're not paying. If you were paying, this would go on forever and ever. But we're going to wrap this up because this is a topic that's been just debated for so long, or not necessarily debated, but people begging me on my own show and on this show all the time, and we get emails. Also, if you have any questions, comments, correspondence, please feel free to drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. And as I've said before, down below you can find all the contact information to find us on your Twitter, on your Facebook. You can find me on the Nintendo Miiverse, as a matter of fact. But we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and I hope it is to yours. Light gun shooters. It's been a long time since we really sat down and just gushed about games that formed us as people and made us the fucked up, depraved individuals that we are today. And we hope that we can help you do the exact same thing with your life. And, so we're obviously not philanthropists. But one that I'm just going to throw this right out here. I'm going to throw out a game series that's a light gun shooter that has been near and dear to my heart for many years, the Time Crisis series. I can't tell you cats how much I love the Time Crisis series. Primarily, Time Crisis 3. Because Time Crisis 3 had the what do you call that? The reciprocal the barrel that the slide moved on its own. Anybody remember the mechanical slide? Anybody?
Oh wait, are you talking about the arcade version?
I am. I'm talking about the blue gun arcade version.
That's the proper version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, in the arcade, there's they have a Time Crisis. I think it's Crisis Zone. In the arcade,
you talk about the one that shakes you to pieces like this,
dude. That's the only. I can beat the game at home, but the actual fucking arcade version, it shakes so violently that eventually it just your forearms feel like they're toned as shit, and you can't maintain a grip anymore. Every single one of my friends, myself included, I've never met a single person who could go from the beginning to the end, and if you can, the Bowflex.
Yeah.
There you
go. God. So the running gag for today is the Bowflex.
Yeah. But dude, fucking Time Crisis, man, that's A+ stuff right there. I love that series.
I'm gonna have to throw out Virtua Cop. I'm gonna have.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know what I love about Virtua Cop and Time Crisis, for the record? The one thing I love about light gun games is because you have less control, maybe, or less mobility, it's on rails. The thing that I love about those games is when you shoot a bad guy, man, you feel like you shot a bad guy. Mm-hmm. Like, they ragdoll the fuck out, and they're going like Murphy at the beginning of fucking RoboCop. Their arms and legs are flying off. Like, it feels like you're a badass with a big gun. You know what I mean? And that's what shooters nowadays, like, you're playing Call of Duty, you shoot some guy straight in the head, and if it doesn't hit dead center, it's like, ooh, that hurt. Gosh, I think I feel an itch. You know what I mean? No reaction from enemies at all. It's fucking bullshit.
Well, back in the day, that was like a big time innovation for 3D games. Was that they had on the person, everywhere that they bend, they had separate hit points for each one of those. And the thing is, when you shot some of them, in both of the series, as a matter of fact, before the random fucking cronies would fall down, not the bosses, but the random fucking dudes that you fight throughout the stages, you can pop off a couple rounds into them, and they'll be like, dush, dush, and you can shoot them in the leg, and then they go and they fall forward. Dude, that was amazing.
But the ultimate game for that isn't even a light gun game, and it's fucking Turok. Fucking shoot the guy in the neck, and a big fountain of blood shoots out, and he's like, oh, and he dies slowly over the course of 20 minutes, and you shoot him in the leg, and he's like, oh my god, and fucking slowly falls to the ground. Like, dude, that game was the ultimate for shooting.
In Turok 2, I'd shoot off the cerebral bore, which I still say is one of the most badass fucking weapons in all of gaming. It shoots at, if anybody's unfamiliar, it shoots at this metal ball that's like from Phantasm, and it really is just the ball from Phantasm. It latches on and starts shooting blood out every fucking time. I'd sit there and watch, and then I'd run up into the fountain of blood and like run around, and I'm like, woohoo! Look at this! Great times had by all.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Dude, if I'm gonna throw out a series, because you guys picked two very fucking epic series, so I'm gonna have to roll with House of the Dead.
That's a good one.
I thought you were gonna, for sure you were gonna go with Area 51 there for some reason.
Area 51 is well, I went to think about like long-running series. I wish Area 51 had more entries into it. I don't count the fucking actual legit first-person shooter one. We're just talking about on rails type shit. But you know, House of the Dead is, you know, a Virtual Cop. And when it comes to Sega, you know, Virtual Cop and House of the Dead, they had that shit locked the fuck down. Yeah, you know, a horror series, and then one where you're running around as the cop who's the lone fucking wolf taking out all sorts of bad guys. And goddamn, we need a fucking Dirty Harry on-rail shooter. That would be amazing.
We were talking about this. I can't remember if we talked about this when you and I were recording our videos together or what the fuck, but I remember we were talking about how the Dirty Harry game that was canceled, which was bullshit. It was supposed to come out in 2007, and it was... Guys, like at the end of my GTA 5 review, I think I was talking about where I would like the series to go. I'm sick of playing as criminals who are just living the dark side of the American dream. I'm sick of that story because they just keep retelling it over and over. I think everyone's getting a little sick of it. Because it's a great game, but they just keep doing it over and over again. What I wanted was, okay, you're playing a cop, and now you're a dirty cop, or you're a rogue cop. Or you have to run around and you're outside of the law and the cops are hunting after you, but then the gangs hate you too. It'd be like an 80s action movie, but open world and GTA style, right?
Dude, it would be nice if they actually gave both options right from the get-go.
Well, Dirty Harry was going to be exactly that. You're going to be Dirty Harry, the rogue cop. It's completely open world and you're just dropping shitbags and killing gang members and trying to evade, you know, being busted down to a lower rank by the angry cliche police chief or whatever, you know, like it was gonna be fucking great, but then they wound up goddamn canceling it, and Clint Eastwood was gonna record voices for it.
Oh my god,
I can't believe this game was canceled. It would have been amazing.
Well, here's actually a good question about it. We're talking about shooters. Okay, for each of you, is there a particular on-rail shooter that you feel that nobody really knows about and it deserves more attention?
I know of a game that not many people know about and deserves more attention, and I fucking hate it, and it's the Resident Evil Gun Survivor Code Veronica.
Oddly, I have not. No, I know of it.
As far as I know, it was a Japanese-only thing. I haven't come across it because here in the Western United States, we have a lot of unlicensed Japanese games come to the West Coast for one reason or another, and this was in a nickel arcade in Huntington Beach, California. And with this game now, also, this game was pretty fucking beat up by the time I got a hold of it. But what you do is it's not so much on rails, but you are allowed to control forward, backward, strafing movements with the gun. The gun was a joystick unto itself, and that control scheme is fucking awful because it has all the stuff you'd expect from Resident Evil, jump scares and zombies wrapping around you, and you can't move quickly. It seems like the whole game is built around stuff you can't do, and therefore it makes a lot of money, I understand. So that's the one that sticks out to me.
Razor Fist?
I'm throwing out Jurassic Park.
The Sega one?
Jurassic. No. I'm talking the arcade game, dude. And here's why.
Well, yeah.
Wait, the stand-up one with the red guns? The stand-up with the red guns?
Yes, the one where the Stegosaurus takes a dump on you.
I remember that.
He's out of its ass at you. Fucking most amazing thing I've ever seen in a game. It was incredible. But yeah, great fucking game. Love that game.
I actually have two I'm going to toss out. One, because I still can't beat the game, because it's fucking impossible. It's Elemental Gearbolt on PS1. It's a on-rail light gun game and an RPG. It's got RPG mechanics. You actually get experience points. You have elemental-based attacks based off of like the type of shit you're using. And it is hard as fuck. Oh man, you have to play it on the hardest setting to even get anywhere into the game, and there's just this one boss that looks like the Independence Day ship, and its life bar, like, you're just firing away at it for a long-ass time, and its life bar is still just continuing to show up, and it's like, take all the free shots you want, you're gonna lose anyway, bitch, and I do, every time. It's been fucking over a decade, and I still can't best it, but beyond that, Yo Chaos had brought up the Resident Evil Survivor series. Well, there is two on-rail Resident Evil games which are phenomenal.
Talking about on the Wii, right?
Yep. Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles, which playing both of them will take you through basically Resident Evil 1 through 4. Or Resident Evil 0 through 4, rather. As a matter of fact, over in there, behind the camera, I've got the HD versions of it on PS3. But they're so damn good. They're really detailed. They're really fun. There's all these alternate paths that you can take. Multiple characters you get to play as. A bunch of weapons you get to unlock. Tons of secrets to find. And it's great stuff. They're not super challenging, but they're really fun. So I always suggest people to check them out. And it doesn't matter if you get the Wii version or PS3 version or whatever the fuck it is you're going to play. You should just get them. And also, if anybody has beaten Elemental Gearbolt, you are a fucking god amongst shooter people thingies. Because dude, I can't. It's so fucking hard. And when you put it in two-player mode, it gets even more difficult. There's no fucking reason for that. It's insanity. Oh, man.
Well, you know, and what you say about those Resident Evil games on the Wii, they do, I don't want to take this away from them, but they do try and make the early Resident Evil games more cool, more movie-like. They take away a lot of that corny edge, you know, who are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Things like that. That is erased from those games, for better or for worse. I just want to point that out, that you're not getting the exact same experience, for better or for worse.
Oh yeah, but they go through them. Like the interesting thing about it is it's kind of the closest thing that we've gotten as a Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remake. And a lot of people kind of forget about that because they're using the in-game engine, which looks really good. And they applied it to older games, obviously, that didn't get that kind of treatment. We have the Resident Evil remake, and Resident Evil 0, obviously, looks good. But it's just, I don't know, they're so fucking fun.
No, absolutely, no argument. You know what's funny is you guys brought up Area 51, which I'm still searching for a PlayStation 1 mouse so that I might play the PlayStation 1 version that I bought, and I refuse to play it with the regular PS1 controller.
Oh, dude, always get a mouse. The PS1 mouse, totally worth it. There's a lot of games that are compatible with it, and like Clock Tower, it's worth it for that alone.
I know, you've dangled it in front of my face a few times, and I appreciate you for that.
That's what she said.
Oh, I see what you did there. But, you know, Area 51 came up, but the one that everyone forgets about, one of the Atari shooters in the mid-90s, Maximum Force. Not a great game, but accurate and, you know, but not terribly memorable. Primarily, everybody wore sweaters for some reason. Everyone wore a pastel sweater in Maximum Force. Do you remember that, Mr. Omega?
Yeah, they had all the oh god, what the hell is the term for it? Where they record the live action people.
Motion capture?
No, it's not. It's the same exact shit that they did with Mortal Kombat. They take the live action people and they applied them into the games, and you can tell it's just people that work in the office, and they're just like, okay, put this stuff on and
put on some sunglasses.
Yeah, that shit. Oh my god, it's always fucking funny. Because they look so out of place, they look lost, and it's just like, can't believe you let your mom come in here and do that.
Well, if you want to do even better than that, the one that always sticks out to me is by Konami, interestingly enough, Lethal Enforcers. If you go way back to Lethal Enforcers, and also Lethal Enforcers 2, which was the Western type shooter game, that was a great one. And again, reminds you very much of Mortal Kombat, because whenever anyone gets shot, they and then they blink, and then they disappear. And
like Revolution X, music is a weapon.
Yeah,
I hate you.
Oh my god, dude. By the way, somebody said it's nice to see me praising things instead of being angry all the time. You must be a fucking imbecile and not watch many things except for my fucking rant videos. I talk about more positive shit than I am when I'm fucking angry, dumbass. Yeah. Or I mean, thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic public relations.
Alpha's plenty positive. Just ask his doctor.
Yeah. Don't worry, I took a shot for that.
That's why the kitty cats are allowed to come around again. You know, we were talking about Sega. We brought up the House of the Dead and Virtua Cop, but you guys left out Ghost Squad. You remember Ghost Squad?
Dude, Ghost Squad was actually quite good. I mean, it's corny as fuck. I mean, it has horrendous voice acting, but it's fucking awesome.
No worse than Resident Evil, though.
No. Well, actually, Resident Evil isn't nearly as bad as the House of the Dead games.
No, not at all.
Don't come! We're meeting G over there. And every time, it is fucking gold. If anything, I would want to submit all the fucking games to Rift Tracks and be like, please do this live. Only you can do it justice. I might think that I'm a funny motherfucker, but those guys... they'll fucking nail it like nobody else. Oh, it'd be so good.
You know, I think I just stumbled on something else we can do together. There's an idea.
Wait, an orgy?
Okay, we could do that too.
Oh, right. Yeah, there we go.
I don't know. We got to ask the pretty one. Mr. Fist, what do you think? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right, good.
See? There you go. He's a team player.
He is. You know, and I want to bring up one before I forget. This is going to get left out, and I don't want to. I think this one was also done by Konami, actually, called Police 911. Do you remember Police 911?
Dude, isn't that the one where you actually move around?
That is the one that does track your motion. You get a fucking workout doing this thing, and that's probably why it stinks all the time. But that's a great game, a really challenging on-rails shooter. Mr. Fish, are you familiar with that one?
No, I've never played it. I never even fucking heard of it.
Dude,
yeah, it's very similar. They did another game called Mocap Boxing, which is a similar idea, but instead of a gun, you have two. Oh, I'm sorry. You have two controllers that are like boxing gloves, and you got to punch, and you get worn out playing that game.
Dude, no, there's some arcade games. I always hate when an arcade game is too fucking active. But like if you go on near the DDR machine, it always just smells like armpits and nachos. Like it just smells fucking terrible. And dude, fucking, I remember there's like a at my local arcade, there's like a Harley Davidson game that actually has like the chassis of a Harley motorcycle.
Done by Sega, if I'm not mistaken.
And it just smells like fertilizer and butthole. Like, just reeks, because it's way more physical than you would think. You're not just like on it, you actually have to rock back and forth.
Yeah, you got to move.
Yeah, you have to move with this motherfucker, and it just, oh man, and if you've ever seen bikers, like, not exactly known for being wayfish. Holy fuck.
There's one that I have, it's on PlayStation 2, and I know it's in arcades because it had an actual fire hose that you would have to use to play the game, but it's a Firefighter FD18.
Oh, shit, I remember that one.
Dude, no fucking joke. You're going around, and imagine it's like a possessed fire. Okay, so it's like a ghostly anomaly who also happens to be made of flame is going around haunting the fuck out of everything. It's like the Ghostbusters' worst nightmare crossed with, like, Backdraft. And you're going around fighting this goddamn thing, and it's so fucking strange and weird, I can't help but to love it. And how the fuck haven't we talked about Point Blank? I don't know. Point Blank games are good too, by the way.
Point Blank games are absolutely stunning. I know that for some reason though they're not very rigid. It seems like I shouldn't say every, but almost every Point Blank game I've come across, even the one two side by side at the Riviera Las Vegas Hotel and Casino during the Classic Gaming Expo last year. The guns, I swear, did someone like stick these in something and break them off, they're not very good guns. I love the game, but the peripherals, I'm not going to give them very high marks.
Dude, I've never played them in arcade. I've only played them at home.
Oh no, they're fantastic in the arcade. Up next to that one, I forget who makes it. I think it was by Mesco, called Police Trainer. Police
I
Trainer
remember that.
and Point Blank are always, for some reason, found in this right next to each other.
All I know is if anybody hasn't tried out the Point Blank games, think of WarioWare type mini games with a gun. And it's crazy different shit all the time. It's really good. I enjoy them a whole bunch. As a matter of fact, kind of hard to tell, but if you look up there, I have all my light gun game boxes lined up. Time Crisis 1 through 4, and Crisis Zone and Point Blank. Yeah, because I'm representing or something.
Secret and shit, right?
I'm repping in shit, yo. See?
Oh, look at that, being all street. Good for you.
So street, quite street.
You know, and another one we didn't bring up, I know we brought up the House of the Dead series, but House of the Dead, I know we're talking about the arcade ones. House of the Dead Overkill on the Wii. We've talked about it a little bit on this program before, and I wholeheartedly recommend that one, just because this is the only game I know that has more fucks than the 8-Bit Podcast. The only that has more than the 8-Bit Podcast, and that's nothing to sneeze at. That's quite an accomplishment.
Apparently you haven't played Alone in the Dark, the reboot from 2009. That game is it's a machine gun loaded with fucks. Like, that's all that game is.
Even more than Ninja Gaiden Razor's Edge?
Dude, like a banal item of conversation. They'll just be walking around like, hey, open the fucking door and get in the fucking car, and fucking, what the... Completely routine conversation. What's wrong with you?
It's always nice to see software that has fucks to spare, because usually developers don't give a fuck about anything, especially you, the paying audience.
My cat just keeps coming over and hanging out and showing up on screen. Wonder if I can get him to be on camera.
Let's see.
There, we can do that. There, dance, Loki. He's like, no. Then he leaves.
What he doesn't know.
Never say Alpha won't go the extra mile. He is literally showing you his pussy on camera.
Yeah, you know, right there. And I did it with a smile.
Man is committed to his work.
First I show people Time Crisis, then I show you pussy. Go on. Go on. I care. I swear. That rhymed. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, and more unintentional pussy than any podcast on the subject of video games in the history of the internet. No doubt about that. But did we really run the gamut on all of those shooters? Because there were so many, and I don't know. Did we leave it? Oh, and the one that I forgot I was going to bring this up was, I understand, and this has been reported to me a few times, is that the House of the Dead Overkill is superior on the PlayStation 3. You actually have a reason to purchase a Move now.
I have one, and I have House of Dead Overkill.
And would you say it's a superior experience to the Wii?
It is.
Finally.
I mean, House of Dead Overkill it was visually it was a very nice looking game on Wii. It just looks a lot better. It's similar to how I say, if you're gonna play the first No More Heroes, always play No More Heroes Paradise on PS3, because it's better. There's no way to really say it. Plus you can play it on a normal controller. I like that. But I don't know, another shooter, the Lethal Enforcers games. There you go.
We already did Lethal Enforcers. Do a different one.
Damn, I'd have to look around my game room. There's so fucking many.
If you want to really be nuts about it, you could bring up the Super Spy on the Neo Geo MVS, but that's just not fun. And
okay, here we go. Crypt Killer.
Hey, wait a minute! You're reading it out the box. You're cheating.
Yeah, yep, I am. But Crypt Killer, and I forgot about it, and I actually have Crypt Killer sitting over there, which makes me feel foolish. I didn't even think about it.
Crypt Killer? You mean the Baltimore Police Department?
Dude, I've only beaten the game once. It's been a really long time. Holy fuck. I need to play through that again. So, yeah. And now to set my microphone back on a Konami Justifier box, because budgets.
And street cred. Don't take that away. Street cred.
Oh, somebody mentioned it. Silent Scope. Yes. Fuck. How did we not even Dude, Silent Scope, whether you're playing in an arcade or you're one of the fortunate few that has the big fucking gun, not to be confused with Doom, but the big fucking gun for Xbox, the actual Xbox One, not the fucking new system, the original OG shit, because you get the gun, dude, that's an amazing experience. And you can get the Silent Scope trilogy. And that's a fucking bargain right there. I love that shit. It's so cool. It kind of sucks though that it's not. They didn't make that gun for PS2. I always thought that was weird.
Ooh, another good one. Shadow Choso brings up Terminator 2: The Arcade by Midway. I remember that when I was a kid. I remember I wasn't tall enough to play it, and I was just sitting there. But back when remember how tough it was to get a quarter back in the 80s and 90s? Can I get a quarter? No, because that quarter was worth money. Not like today. Quarter. I picked my teeth with a quarter.
I have like 1 million stacks of quarters sitting over there because I need to go do laundry.
Really? I thought it was more of a stack of dimes. I thought it was more. Fucking whip.
Oh.
Fucking whip. You left the door open.
You left the door
that's
open
right.
and
There
your
is a
stack of
Silent
dimes
Hill
fell out.
arcade game that is a light gun game.
Yeah, and there's a point inside of it that I don't know any of the characters' names within it, but apparently Pyramid Head picks up this one chick and throws her like he's out on the first pitch for a fucking baseball game.
Yeah.
This fucking bitch down the hall, and every time I've seen that video, I've been like, like giggling like a fucking kid. I never played the arcade game though. I've never seen it before in person. I want to though.
I don't know. It's definitely an example of latter-day Konami.
Yeah.
You get the shoehorned Pyramid Head appearances. You got pretty much everything. All the greatest hits.
Here's the thing. Silent Hill and on-rail shooter don't fucking make sense together. But considering I'm a diehard Silent Hill fan, I'd go and play it just because it said the name on it. So I guess, kudos to them for doing that and make me spend like the equivalent of $800 in credits at Dave & Buster's if they add it there, just to be able to experience the game in full. Oh boy. I can't get that shit to run on MAME. It's too fucking powerful. Too powerful! Way too powerful.
And one that's been left out until just now, I guess I could bring it up, is Wild Gunman. But, you have to use your hands, and that's like a baby's toy, so we won't even talk about it.
Yeah, it's like a baby's toy. I didn't even think about that one. Fuck. Duck Hunt. Ha! There! I cheated!
Duck Hunt, that's a great one. We can even say Gumshoe.
Oh, okay. I suck at Gumshoe, though, like a bunch.
Yeah, and if you want to get real hardcore, Yoshi Safari.
Or we could go. What the fuck is it? Is it just called? Is it called Safari? I forget. It's something on the Sega Master System. It has a game like Duck Hunt in it, and then
Safari.
you have all this. Dude, that right there is pretty fucking badass. I don't know any other ones. I ran the gamut. There.
Yeah. Topic over.
Topic over.
Went off on this.
See, don't tell me, and we're going to get all these people down below. Says, you left out this, you left out that. Well, maybe we'll do it next time.
Look, just mentioning something doesn't actually do anything. Just saying a name doesn't be like, oh, now the topic's good, because they said a word. Like, no. Fuck, there. See, that's the most important word of all. I'm House of Dead Overkill, incarnate.
And there it is. Thank you very much, folks. That's about our time. We hope you've had a great time. It's been a while, and we hope to see you again for our next live show next month, I guess, because E3 is barreling down the tracks at us, and of course we're going to sit here and we're going to poo-poo it like we do every single year. So I want to thank you for joining us. We hope you guys had a great time. I am the Mighty Yell Chaos. Joining me as always, the Convention Kid, Alpha Omegason.
And Loki! Hooray! He's like, no! But yeah, thank you for showing up. Unless you didn't show up, then you don't even hear me saying thank you. So, poop.
And of course, the Bullet Belt Messiah, my friend, your friend, linguistics champion of the 8-Bit Podcast, Razor Fist.
The excellence of elocution. Sorry, I don't have a cat with me. My cats are busy communing with Satan. So, God fucking speed, bitch.
And my cat is morbidly obese, so that's just the way things are. Thank you very much, folks. I want to remind you that you guys are great, and we have been the 8-Bit Podcast, and we'll see you next time.